Hey everybody, Roxbox90 here with some Dragons of Tarkir speculation. So apologies for the delay on video content. It's been a bit busy couple of weeks, but Dragons of Tarkir spoilers are starting up, so I will be back to run through those with you as they come out and hopefully keep you up to date on everything. This is a little bit of pre-speculation since the first spoilers are probably going to be tomorrow, so let's try to get a little bit into what's going on in Tarkir. Speculation. Tarkir Dragons, the Uncharted Realms section of the Magic site kind of gives you these articles that are flavor based and gives you a look into the characters in the story and the story itself. Since we no longer have the Magic the Gathering books to look forward to, this is kind of Wizards' way of keeping up on the story with us. Tarkir of Dragons is an article which delves into Sarkhan Vol's time travel. This is Sarkhan returning to the future, the present, however you look at it, given that he was in the past in Fate Reforged. This is him coming back to the present, and guess what? I know in medievalish styled Magic world they don't really understand time travel at all, but things change when you mess around in the past. Then classic time travel, it affects the future. And yes, Ugin is technically alive, but a lot of other stuff has changed as a result as well. So the article gives you a sense from Sarkhan's perspective, oh my gosh, what's been going on. The real reason to look at this article, from my perspective, was just a piece of artwork on it that people have been speculating about. I recommend you look at the article and read it yourself. It's an interesting spin on what's happening to Sarkhan and what we could potentially expect from the set. But there's a piece of artwork sitting right in the middle of the page, which some people have said, this reminds me of Scalding Tarn. Plums of steam, smoke. It could be dust, it could be steam, lava, mountains. It's very dark. Very dark, kind of more Tarny, but my issue with it being Tarn is that, one, there's really no blue here. There's no obvious water, there's no blue colors, it's very black and red. That in of itself, it could easily just be a mountain. Even though, yes, it's kind of shaped-ish, like a Scalding Tarn would be, it looks like a mountain. My hope is that this is either a mountain or a red-black dual style kind of land, because allied colors, based on another point at the end I'm going to mention later, allied color pairings are a primary focus here in the set, and this and black-red would work that way. Given that I also think that Scalding Tarn is going to be printed in Zendikar in the fall and not here, chances are that it's not Scalding Tarn. But let's swing the other way. Let's speculate for a theory. Let's say they're going to print the enemy fetch lands in the new set. What and how does that going to make any sense? How is that going to work flavor-wise? Well, if you look at the article Confall, which is another one of these Uncharted Realms, this one was a little earlier, but it kind of connects to what we're talking about. This is, I guess it's late enough that it's not really spoilers to talk about it, but pretty much Sarkhan Vol leaves, saves Ugin from death and leaves, which messes around the whole plane because the dragons are now alive. There's no Ugin to help work with balancing things out. The storms are more intense. The clans are in trouble. If you remember from Fate Reforged, the clans versus the dragons on the siege cards, for example, it's this battle between the two. And as long as there's balance, it's fine. But there isn't balance, and that's a problem. So pretty much what's happening, the dragons are winning. And that's what this article deals with. It's also a pretty interesting read, even though it's a little corny at points, and it could definitely use a little bit, I think, of a little bit more editing and work on it. But still, the emphasis is on the fact that the dragons are winning. The dragons are winning. If you guys recall the fetch lands from Khans, what happens when the dragons lost? The fetch lands represent the dragon bones, that the dragons are dead, and this is the world that's come to where they're dead. So if we had Fate Reforged in the center as a story point where the dragons are saved, and then the dragons win, then whose bones would be in the future in Dragons of Tarkir? The clans, or at least the clans that are the primary clans. And it doesn't really hold up because we know the clans still exist in the new future. So that doesn't really work. It's really the dragons kind of take over the clans. They don't wipe them out. So that, to me, doesn't hold up. I still think, nope, I think Zendikar in the fall is most likely where it would be. Keep the fetch lands apart, keep them in standard, all 10 in standard for a much shorter time without printing only half the lands and such. But they've done half the lands with pain lands, so they don't even have to reprint the fetches. But if they're going to, I still think it's in Zendikar. I don't think putting in the same block would make any sense to me because of, large part because of that, of this reason where it's kind of a cool flavor quirk. It might work, but the clans are still alive, so it doesn't really work. So that whole side and perspective doesn't work. So I still hold with the Zendikar one, but I can see how other people would say, well, why don't they just have a flip around? The clan bones are here instead of the dragon bones, and have the enemy fetches, which are the opposing or flip colors of these. Okay, I see the argument. I don't buy it, though. I think we're not going to see Zendikar fetches in dragons. Interesting article which kind of connects to that point is that the Marrow's first preview article was leaked in Spanish. Now, I don't want to trust the very rough translations, but there's a couple of interesting points just briefly to mention. One is that he talks about how they wanted to do, since you have the tricolor, you have the primary color, which impacts the 3 colors, and then 2 that work together. So he said that they started out having enemy color pairs, where they wanted to pair enemy colors together and kind of make that an emphasis, but they changed it to allied instead. So this kind of also undermines the, oh, we'll have enemy fetches, because if they're having an allied color focus, why would they do enemy fetches now? Why wouldn't they have flipped it the other way and done enemy fetches earlier and then do allied fetches now? That's like what is very strange to me, especially because the development cycle was very long ago. But okay, fine. So that's just an interesting point. You guys can read the translation if you want to, but I recommend just waiting for the full article. He also talks about a new morph mechanic, where it's really just MegaMorph, or like a different style morph, where the morph flips up and gets 1/1 counter when it's turned up, which connects with the Abzan theme and would be interesting. So I don't know if I want to, these are real speculation until proven otherwise, because they're relying on translation and the article itself wasn't supposed to be even revealed. I think we'll have a more concrete way to analyze the information from this article when it's officially released, hopefully this week. But more importantly, that's my perspective on the fetch lands, that's my perspective on this image, and that's my perspective pretty much on what's going on in this new story arc that we're looking forward to. So you guys can read the articles yourselves, linked below, and tell me what you think down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, tap the like button. If you're new to the channel, check in and subscribe. I'll be keeping up with all the Dragons Tarkir spoilers, so stay tuned, and as always, Roxy Box and 90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.